Welcome Wolfpack to a brand new game, Transport Fever 2. We're going to try a Let's Play series in free game mode, and these are going to be our settings. Here is our seed if you're looking to play the same map, if you find things that you like on this map. We're going with a very large map, a 1:2 scale, so it's going to be longer up and down than it is wide. We're going to go with high cities and high industry. Our last series failed. I ran out of money and couldn't keep it going, so just so you know, I'm not a pro at this game. I learn just like everybody else, so feel free to throw feedback at me. I'm not above any other gamer out there that plays this game. In fact, I'm probably quite below it. We have an 11 by 22 kilometer area. We have 20 towns and 162 industries to play with. We're going to play on a medium difficulty, start in 1850 just like the game allows us, and we're going to play in the USA. Let's kick it off and see how it goes from here. Guys, if you're new to the channel and you're just finding us, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below, set your notifications to all, and when you do, welcome to the Wolfpack. First thing I'm going to do here is pause the game, and we're going to take a look at this map. The last series that I started, I think my supply area, the farm, was way too far away from the industry area, which caused a huge delay in getting the crops to the industry. That in turn cost a ton of money, and we were driven out of business relatively quickly. So we are going to look around here and see what we can find that is relatively close. A couple of close towns would be nice. I will be introducing rail a little bit earlier than what I did the last time. I think that is also one of the reasons why we failed. Des Moines doesn't look like a bad starting point. We do have a goods factory here that can use chemicals from here if we can find a way to get this oil refined and over to the chemical factory. There is a refinery right over here, but it is up a large hill and significant distance away from Des Moines. One of the things we do have, however, is a sawmill right here. Forest and a sawmill, which will give us the planks that could eventually go over into the machines factory, but everything is all spread out. See if we can find something else. Down here by Lexington and Frisco, we do have a forest that can run logs over to a sawmill, which can then be brought over to the machine factory. That would satisfy one end of the Frisco machines factory. Future expansion could include the forest over here and the Pueblo forest over there to bring in logs over to the sawmill. Let's check out the steel industry and see what we would have to do to make that work. So the steel would come down to the machines factory. We need to find a coal supply and an iron ore supply. There's a coal mine over there, but that is quite a distance and will require us to build a bridge. We have coal here and iron ore here. So we do have a potential of running a train line from the iron ore mine down to the coal mine and then down to the steel mill. So Frisco and Pueblo, this area down here, is a possible starting point. We also have several oil wells close to the refinery up here in Marietta. That could come into play later on. We also have a chemical plant over here, which could play into Des Moines goods factory. Let's go up north here a little bit and see what we have up here. I do like how Fort Collins is situated on this fork of the river here. We do have two farms that can feed into a food processing plant, and then we can send that food back to Fort Collins. I think we've made our selection. I think we are going to start in this Frisco area and the Baton Rouge area and try to see how it works out between them. We have Marietta up there. We are going to see if we can get the iron ore and coal to the steel mill and then the steel down to the machines factory. I think I'm going to start with bus routes, or at this point in the game, stagecoach routes in Frisco, Marietta, and in Baton Rouge. The proximity of the forest seemed to lend that we should be able to keep the Frisco sawmill in operation without a train line, at least initially. So we'll fire it up. We'll see if we could spend the $5 million that we have right now. We are bound by horses and carriages and trains, low-level trains. So we will see if we can spur some growth with some vehicles in Frisco. I do want to leave this area open over here for a train station. At this point, we only need 2 bus stations to capture all of Frisco here. Everybody should be able to get to work and move around the town. When we get the train station built here, this bus station will service that train station. So to get some money coming in here, we are going to drop a road depot in. Let's see which side of town this would be best suited for. I think it's going to be best down here where we're going to be running our vehicles around. Let's get 2 or 3 horse-drawn carriages running people. We need to make a line. Line number 1 will be there to there, back and forth. And we will rename our line the Frisco Bus Line. Renaming your lines is paramount. As you continue throughout the game, you will lose track of all of those lines. It's best to start renaming your lines so you know what each of them do. Back in here, we'll add these 2 road vehicles to the Frisco Bus Line, and they are off. We'll do Marietta as a little bit larger town. Let's do the same up here. We have a bus station that will service this half of the town where everybody lives, and eventually the train station. We'll put another bus stop right over here to service the rest of the town. We'll also put a road depot right outside of town. And now we have the Marietta bus line. And we will go ahead and add a couple of vehicles. So we have placed our first cargo station in here. We are servicing the machinery factory. Those machines will be taken over to Lexington. There is the cargo line for the steel mill. We went ahead and extended the street out a little bit to push the train station that we have planned over towards the water a little bit. Now we have a passenger train station, and we're going to allow room for growth there. We are going to go with 2 tracks, and we are going to put this passenger train station right in here. And one side of this will come in from Marietta. So we will run passengers from Marietta down to Frisco, and then eventually this line will branch off and run either over to Lexington or Scottsdale. I haven't decided on that just yet. I want to make sure that we can run tracks by this train station before the growth happens. And then what we're going to have here is a main line run. So the cargo trains will be using that same line. So now I'm going to go ahead and place a modular cargo yard right here that's going to service the iron ore. Keeping an eye on the topography, we will also extend our street. We are going to put this train station over here so it's not insanely expensive, and then we'll have trucks run coal to the train station for shipment down to the steel plant. And we will connect everything with train lines. So our earnings are not looking so hot right now, but hopefully this all pays off in the end. All right, so here we are, October 19th, 1851. We have added a coal truck line here to run coal from the mine over to the train station, and we're going to call that the Frisco North Coal Spur. We're going to go ahead and add 4 vehicles to the coal spur line, buy them for $95,000. Now these trucks will start moving coal from the coal mine over to the train station, which brings us to our next point. We have to connect the tracks to the depot. Eventually what we are going to do is run this track down here, capture the sawmill, this forest, and then back over here to Lexington, because this is where the machines have to go. But I think we're going to start making a little bit of money before then, before we worry about that. Let's get these trains running here. We're going to make a train line to bring the iron ore from up here in Baton Rouge down here to pick up coal in lower Baton Rouge, and then drop it at the steel mill at Frisco West. We are going to start with that. Eventually we will haul steel down to here, but I'm not sure how we're going to work that out just yet. So one of the things I looked for last night in tutorials, and I could not find one, at least the way I was searching for it, is how to pick up a mixed load of freight. So we are going to go over that in the next couple of minutes. So here we are, train number 1. We have 6 gondola cars because they can carry coal and iron ore. We have a total capacity of 42. That's 22 each that they're bringing down to the steel mill at any given point. We'll make the color a nice little Nate Wolf blue. And we're going to go ahead and buy that train. We're going to put it on the Baton Rouge coal and ore line. That's very hard to say. And let them go. So this train should now be headed up to Baton Rouge for its first run. So before we get too crazy, let's take a look at this line. I had to adjust the size of both of these cargo platforms because I had them 120 meters long. They really were a little bit overpowered for what we need to do right now. We are already getting a ton of iron ore dropping into the cargo terminal up here at Baton Rouge. And our trucks will be starting to pull some coal out of the Frisco North yard here very soon. They've done a couple of rounds. They're brand new. This one will be the first load that is on the way to the train station. So before it's too late, we are going to adjust the line here. The Baton Rouge coal and ore. I want them to load only iron ore here, and I only want them to take 50% iron ore. I don't want them to load coal, stone, or grain if it becomes available. I don't want them to unload anything. So 50%, so 3 cars will be iron ore when that train pulls in. Then when I come down here to lower Baton Rouge, I don't want them to load iron ore. I want them to load 50% coal. Don't unload anything. Don't load anything else. And that should bring us to Frisco West, where they drop everything. So let's see how that works for the first time. Right, so here we are with our first train pulling into Baton Rouge to pick up our half load of iron ore. Let's see how our settings worked out. If everything works out well, we will pick up 3 cars of iron ore, and we're out. Our next move will be to come down here and stop and get 3 cars of coal and head to the steel mill from here. You'll see our trucks are now bringing coal over rather efficiently, so we're not quite going to get a full load of coal out of this station. We're going to get about 16 tons. A full load would be 21. but that's okay. That'll get us started. We are going to go ahead and fix this train station. I did get a little overzealous. I made that platform 120 meters wide. It does not need to be that long, so we're going to go ahead and drop that down by 1 platform length. All right, $316,000 is our first load of coal and iron into the steel mill, which will get them going. We've started production of steel. For every 2 iron and 2 coal, we make 1 steel. So that's a lot of resources that needs to be pulled down here. I will most likely have to add another train here eventually. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a truck line to run steel back and forth, since there will be a minimal amount of steel, at least initially. 4 horse-drawn carriages. So we're going to go ahead and put Frisco transfer down to Upper Frisco. Call that the Frisco Steel Truck Line. And their only responsibility will be to take a minimal amount of steel from the steel mill over to the machine shop for now, just to keep some revenue flowing in and the steel mill cranking out steel. So I did set this Frisco transfer and the steel line to wait for a full load. So these trucks will sit here until the steel mill starts cranking out steel. Here's our train, just picked up a 50-50 load of iron ore and coal and now headed to the steel mill. I'm going to do a tutorial on how to do that. Don't forget to check out that. I will link it in the description below. Guys, if you're getting something out of today or you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, you just found us because of this game, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button as well. There will be a lot more content of this game. I enjoy playing this game quite a bit, and I always have ever since the Transport Fever and OpenTDD days 15 years ago. Here is our first full load of iron ore and coal dropping into the steel mill. $346,000. Very nice. We just need to keep that up. Starting to load our trucks over here. 3 of 4 steel, 4 of 4 steel. First truck of steel is on the way to the machine shop factory. Second full load of steel is on the way to the machine shop. Over here we still have the bus line is doing okay. The town is growing. Here is one of our first steel deliveries into the machine shop, or into the machine's factory. 4,080. So we are getting steel delivered into the machine factory. As of right now, it is just becoming stored product because we don't have the other half of the supply chain set up yet. Quite frankly, we don't have the funding to do that either, so we're going to have to hold off on that. As long as they continue to bring steel down here, we should be fine. I think I am going to take out 2 $500,000 loans, and we are going to clone this train. Now we will have double the capacity to make steel on this line. Now with that, we are going to have to do a couple of sidings and signals. I have to do another $500,000 loan to make this work, otherwise we're going to have some train collision problems, which we don't need at all. Now we have to drop some signals in here. So we placed a siding here where the trains can pass. I think we're also going to put one up here as well because it's going to make sense. And again, a couple of signals. Hopefully we won't have too much of an interest payment due here where we can't keep our head above water. So since we added a second train to this line, we had to add sidings. I put in 2 so these trains are allowed to pass each other. Otherwise, you're going to have a head-to-head issue, and that doesn't work very well with trains. Looks like our first attempt at sidings in Transport Fever 2 is successful. Here's another full load of iron ore and coal dropping into the steel mill. That's going to start cranking up the steel mill, and our trucks over there in the distance on the right will start to fill up, and they will start to leave. I say trucks loosely. In this day and age, it's 1855, and it's horse-drawn carriages. So at this point in time, we're not really using this passenger line. I think I am going to go ahead and get rid of it for now. It's just costing us a ton of money, and we're not using it just yet. So when we do put the passenger line in, we will make sure that that gets back in. I know it's a bit of a slow start and not a ton of action, but I want to make sure that we can make a sustainable transportation company, and going bankrupt early is a big problem of mine. If you haven't checked out the previous series, you'll know what I mean. We had to cancel the series because I was out of money and couldn't get back over my head. We have a full load of iron ore and coal headed down to the steel mill. We also have a train half full of iron ore coming over to get some coal. We actually should be in decent shape now for getting a flow of steel going, which should help our money as well. So we're going to run the simulation for a little while here and see how it works out. Hopefully we will continue to make money. I will bring it back when we get something going on. We just had a new locomotive, the 440 General. We will definitely be taking a look at that when we need to upgrade our trains. All right, so we have made a little bit of money. We are going to go ahead and repay one of our $500,000 loans. I'll let this go ahead and run till 1860, and we'll bring you back. All right, we're back in July 24th, 1864, and we're going to have to make some maintenance decisions here. We do have a positive balance, money coming in, which is good, and a lot better than what I normally do. All right, so here we are, September of 1864, and we do have to upgrade or replace a couple of our road vehicles, especially the ones on the coal mine, one of our earliest vehicles in the game that we have purchased. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. $311,000 to work with right now. We are making a little bit of money. I wanted to pay off another loan, but we have to replace these vehicles right now or they're going to start costing us a lot of money. So we're going to go into here. We're going to take all the vehicles that are assigned to the Frisco North Coal Spur and we're going to replace them. Obviously, we're going to stick with the horse-drawn carriages, but it needs to be done. Otherwise, we're going to start losing a ton of money. Eventually, we'll have to do the same thing with the trains. We still have a little bit of time before that. This one still has 20 years to go. The other one probably has about 10. And then we can replace them with bigger and better locomotives as they come available. We are going to go down to one bus in Frisco. There is just not enough people wanting to go back and forth here to make this need more than one bus. And this is a perfect example of why. We're going to go ahead and manage this vehicle. We're just going to sell this one right off the bat. So this one vehicle, road vehicle number 1, will run people back and forth. And if there's too many people, we'll add another one later on, but I don't see that being the case. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a look at Marietta. There's one person on this line. We're actually running at a loss. In some cases, a pretty substantial loss over here. So we're going to go ahead and go down to one vehicle over here as well. We're going to sell it as well. That one passenger that gets kicked off there because we sold the vehicle in the middle of the run. Sorry, guy. Find your way to work. All right, we're coming to the end of 1865 right now. We just dropped another load of steel there. We have $640,000 in the bank. We're operating in the positive at this point. We've adjusted some of our bus lines to be more efficient in the town. We've taken some vehicles off. We've also replaced our first generation of vehicles from 1850 on the coal spur, and we will eventually have to do that with the trains as well. We are going to go ahead and wrap up episode number 1 right here. In the next episode, we are going to try to pay back a few more loans so we can get out of debt, and hopefully we still will be using the steel mill and the steel industry to do so. If you haven't hit that red subscribe button yet, please do and set your notifications to all. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video and let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious at what duration you would like to see these videos. Let me know if you'd like to see them kept around 10 to 15 minutes or if 20 to 30 minutes is more your speed for a game this type. I have no problem making any duration as long as it's watchable for the viewer. Right now there's another video popping up onto your screen. Don't forget to click that video and we will see you over there.